Splatter Me Crazy sponsors this episode of Frostbites with Kelly Frost. Unleash your inner artist and splatter paint on our willing volunteers. October 4th at Thunderbird Cafe and Music Hall.
Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Frostbites with Kelly Frost. I am, of course, Kelly Frost. We just had such a great episode with Denzel Washington. Not that Denzel Washington, but he is just as talented. We had so much fun, and we also had our co-host today, which was Dominique Murray. I tell you what, we had so much going on, and he has so many dates with some talented other people that are going to be joining him. So stick around. We'll be right back. Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Frostbites. We have Denzel Washington here today.
Hey.
And our beautiful co-host again today is Dominique Murray. Thank you for being here.
Thanks for having me.
And thank you, Denzel, for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Now, everyone always says, oh my gosh, Denzel Washington. You're dating Denzel Washington? Yes. It's so much fun to do that, huh?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And then
my
she follows
dad's
it up
name
with...
and everything else, and it's the
Yes.
whole running joke.
She does love to
Yes.
follow it up with. And then my dad's Bill
always.
Murray.
I know,
No
right?
one
Yeah, the
believes
Bill
anything.
Murray thing. Yeah, it's definitely a standout conversation.
My mom was like, did you have to copy me with a celebrity thing?
Oh, I didn't realize that was like...
It's a competition.
Yes, I didn't know that. So what's next?
What's next?
Yes, what's celebrity next?
You're the next celebrity.
I'm the next celebrity.
Well, he's already
I don't know
in,
about that.
so-
Nah, my God.
Who's the third? What's the next name that we're going to have?
David Frost.
David Frost.
We
I
already
don't know.
have
I
that
don't know.
one.
Tobey Maguire. Emma Frost. I feel like that's an X-Men.
It is an
It is
X-Men.
an X-Men. There
So
we go.
my husband is
Yeah.
David Frost,
Yeah.
who is a golfer. He also has a wine line.
Ah.
He also interviewed famously Nixon. So,
Okay.
but not everybody knows that. That's in a younger generation.
Yeah, like
But then for Halloween, he kept telling me, "Oh, you should be Emma Frost."
you should
Oh
be
my
Emma
gosh.
Frost. You would be a great Emma
Yeah,
Frost.
I could see it.
That would be awesome.
But not a lot of people knew who that was either.
What?
So
That's terrible. They need to hurry up and make that X-Men
to
movie.
each their own. I guess not a lot of people know a lot of the lesser-known Marvel characters.
Terrible. What
Gotta
makes
read the
me upset
comics.
is that Marvel, X-Men was like one of the first movies to get Marvel on the map. Like if you look back at the history, but that's a long conversation.
But I can understand how you'd be so into movies,
Yeah,
considering what you do for a living.
Yes, cinematography, you know. But yeah, I'm a big movie buff. I love Christopher Nolan. Trying to think, Inception is my favorite movie of all time, just
That
because
is-
of how
yeah.
cerebral it is. You know, at the end, you're like, is it still spinning or is it not spinning? Like, are they still in this?
So what's
Reality?
your take? Was it a dream or was it?
Yeah, and that word is
You know, that's the magic of the movie. I'm not gonna tell you what I thought. You know, I'm gonna
You know,
leave
I
it up
have
to
been
you.
called cerebral like 3
Cerebral.
times in the last 30
Yes.
days.
That's
Stoic
a-
and cerebral. I'm
That's
like,
good.
okay.
Stoic? You're both stoic.
Yeah,
You guys have a lot of similarities.
yeah. Like we're very stoic people. We can be stoic. We can be animated too. But
you?
you
No.
know, no, not at all. No.
But yeah, it's funny you use that word. But yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so tell us a little bit about yourself.
Me? Oh my gosh, I'm an Akronite. So I'm from Akron, Ohio. I was born in Akron at Summa Health Center in 1993. But yeah, I'm a cinematographer, musician. What else do I do? I'm a model sometimes. And yeah, I just like to inspire people at the end of the day, you know, motivate people. And I feel like that's my calling, just to really inspire and motivate and get people to do what is outside the norm of what normal life is, like a normal 9 to 5, or, you're just doing things over and over again. But how can you take that further? How can you challenge yourself? So I feel like God put me on the earth to be like, yo, you are the light to help inspire people to do more. So, yeah, that's me in a nutshell.
A nutshell.
Yeah, just a little.
If we talked about all the things he did, we'd need like a 3-hour podcast.
Yeah, I like to cut it down because, I don't like talking about myself too much.
A lot of people say that.
A lot of people do, but I'm dead serious.
Well, once they get talking now.
Well, yeah, we can talk all day.
Yeah.
Shoot.
All right, so a cinematographer.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of people don't know what that actually means, or they're
Yeah.
intimidated by that word.
Yeah.
So how do you define that?
So a cinematographer is basically, in a nutshell, we'll use that word again. It's a person who captures visuals. I believe, from my standpoint, a cinematographer is a storyteller, along with a person that can tell a story through visual, through camera work, as we're using cameras right now. There's a difference between somebody that can just pick up a camera and use a camera, and somebody that can break down the visual aspects of telling that story through visual. And that's what I feel is totally different. That's what a cinematographer means to me. So, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we had a guest on earlier today, and we were talking about the difference between photography and
Yes.
using video
Yep.
as a medium. And he was enthralled with different kind of cameras.
Yeah.
Is there a certain kind of camera that you prefer or that you would never want to use? Or can you just pick up anything and use it? I mean, is it about the tool? Is it about the talent? Is it about the person, subject, what you're filming?
So that's a very good question too, and that's also really cool that you brought that up as far as the knowing how to use each camera, right? I feel like that's an ability that cinematographers have as well. Like, you can literally pick up any camera and know how to utilize it, know how to figure it out in any type of situation, versus a videographer is usually, I have my camera, these are my settings. But to answer your question, a preferred camera for me would probably be, right now I'm using the C70. It's very versatile in a lot of different situations, whether that be, run and gun, documentary, whether that be storytelling, cinematography, cinematic type of film, short films, long films that you could put on Netflix. So, yeah.
What's the favorite thing that you've filmed?
Favorite thing that I've filmed thus far is probably, I just did a commercial with a big NFL star. His name is Nick Chubb. I don't know if I'm allowed to display this information, but
Too late.
I just wrote and directed and shot a commercial for him, and that was pretty cool. Nick Chubb, so for the Browns.
What's the commercial about? Is it about NFL?
Yeah, so the commercial is actually about the partnership between University Hospitals, which is a big hospital system in Cleveland, and the Browns player Nick Chubb. He about a couple years ago, either last year or 2 years ago, had twisted his knee really bad. And this was the second time this had happened in his career. So the commercial is basically telling that story of how UH helped him on that journey to get better. So yeah, it's pretty cool. Yeah.
So it seemed now, we're Yinzer's here.
Right.
So is he playing again? Is he able to get back?
So that's the big to-do. Right now, he's currently in the rehabilitation stages. So we're kind of capturing his journey midway, and we're hoping that he will be back out on the field. Yeah.
Very interesting.
So, yeah.
Good luck to him.
Good
Hopefully
luck
he
to
will
that
be.
guy, yeah. Because, man, a lot of people are missing him, and he's a good guy. He's a really good guy. Meeting him, I was like, wow, you are like the classic. Like, if I wanted to meet my star, he would definitely be one of those people. So, yeah, good personality.
Are you into football?
I'm not even into football. That's the thing. I don't really watch sports all like that. Like, I'm not a big sports buff guy. If it's in the room and a lot of people are like, "Oh my gosh, I love sports," then I could definitely play the role of being like, "Oh yeah,
That's the actor
I know
coming
about
out.
that's the actor coming out." But yeah, I think one of my favorite sports is basketball because I used to play a lot of basketball when I was a kid. So yeah.
So who's the athlete in basketball that sticks out for you?
Probably, I'm from the Cleveland area, so I gotta say LeBron. Steph Curry is also from Akron. So both of those guys, they're fantastic at what they do, and it's really good watching them play, especially against each other. When we were having those years where it was the Warriors versus, the team that LeBron was on, best times for sure.
I assume that's what he was going to say.
Something like that.
Yeah.
I mean, I think we like hockey games.
Oh, wow.
Until
recently,
yeah.
right?
What do you like about hockey? What's the big to do? What do you love about hockey though?
I don't think. Well, for me, I think the atmosphere of the Penguins games is like amazing. It's just top notch. The fans, everything that you go in, like, and I think my dad and I watched it together, so that's also just like the sentimental tie there
Nostalgia
of like,
type of.
yeah, and then just a good fight.
I knew you was gonna say that. You was gonna
A
say
good
a good
hockey
fight.
fight,
That's
like-
crazy, man. Instigation.
We were like last time we were right
She's like, I
down
don't like the
on
violence.
on the ice, and it was me and Danielle and her hubby and my dad, and literally right there, just watching everything go down. It was
Just go
great.
to a UFC match
Nice
if you
little
want to see
adrenaline rush.
people
Not,
fighting.
no,
I mean,
not
that's
the
a fight.
same. That is not the same. The atmosphere is not the same.
Okay.
Well, with that, you're going to see a
Right,
fight.
exactly.
Yeah, there's
Hockey.
a little bit of
Okay.
anticipation.
You gotta wait for it, but you still want to see the fight.
Yeah.
It's part of the game.
Okay.
It's an aspect.
I flew down to Florida for a game once. There was just like cheap tickets, and my friends and I just like hopped on a plane and went to a Pens game in Florida and came back just for fun.
It's crazy.
This was like last week.
Something like that, yeah.
It was last week.
I mean, I guess in hockey, you
Yeah.
expect to see a fight. Not
Yeah.
necessarily in baseball.
Yeah. I mean,
Not in baseball. No.
I mean, I'm not a person to like watch baseball, but I'll go to a Pirates game and like eat and drink and
Well,
enjoy the
I
view.
think atmosphere is baseball.
Yeah. I could agree with that.
I couldn't
yeah.
watch
I couldn't
baseball
watch
on
baseball.
TV. I would fall asleep. Too.
Yeah, same.
Golf, I would fall asleep too.
Oh my gosh,
I'm
yeah.
if I'm
Golf
not
is
tired,
terrible.
golf.
I'm sorry. It's
That's not my
ugh,
sport to watch.
makes me feel old.
But I do like to go to golf outings.
Golf is cool. Golf is cool to be on the the
Top
green and walk around and feel like a housewife.
Okay.
That's how I feel when I
right.
not you. That's how I feel when I get on the
He
green,
feels like a
a housewife. Yeah,
I got that. Yeah, because I don't make that noise. Yeah.
you gotta go. As soon as you get on the green.
Duly noted.
Yes. Next time, do it.
Next time.
Next time, do it. You're gonna feel good. Watch.
All right. So last week, that was the first time I had ever been at the Pittsburgh Winery. Is that what it is?
Yeah,
Yeah.
That was the first time I was ever there.
dude.
So cool.
I went for
Amazing.
you and
Yes,
the rest
I
of your
appreciate you.
talented people that you had that opened for you.
Thank you.
And it was incredible to watch everything that you all do.
Thank you.
And every show, I always think, oh, okay, so and so and so and so and so and so. I think I know what's coming.
Right.
Nope.
Every time is different. And
Well, I'm glad you feel that way. I feel like, that's a part of the experience, right? It's like you're never supposed to really know what is coming because that is the immersion. It's like you're watching a movie. Like, I don't really want to know what's next, but,
Yeah. So tell us a little bit about your shows.
So the shows in itself, in its entirety, I feel like I've told this spiel a couple of times this week, but the R&B reimagines, that's what you were at. Originally, I had produced a show in Cleveland. It was called the R&B Open Floor Experiment. And I had produced this show because I was going around as an artist, as an R&B artist, just singing at different places. And as an artist, you have to do all of this work up until you do that, right? You got to write the music, you got to record, you got to engineer. If you don't know how to do that, you got to go to a studio, got to do all these different things. And then finally, you can perform it in front of people or release the music. But I felt at that time when I was like getting out there and starting to perform for other people, I felt like the venues were not giving me the proper resources. So it's like as an artist, even as a painter, as a designer, as a musician, as a filmmaker, if you're doing all of this work up and then you finally get to that place to where you can display that or express those actions and it's not it's just not really it, then you feel terrible about your craft, at the end of the day. So I took it upon myself, and I was like, yo, like, if this door is not going to open for me properly, I might as well craft it myself. So that's how the R&B Open Floor Experiment was founded. And me and a couple of my closest friends, we crafted this show at a studio that I managed in Cleveland, Six City Studios, shout out. And we crafted the show, and we took local R&B artists and one R&B artist that wasn't from around the area. We found a live painter. We found a live band. We ordered the food ourselves, shipped in the food and wine. And we had like a photo booth area. And we wanted it to be this big immersive experience to where not only the R&B artists, but whatever artist that participated within the open floor experiment was able to express themselves at the fullest capacity, because that was my whole thing, right? Like I felt like I couldn't do that. So let's give these guys the resources, right? So what comes with that is, before this show, like, you guys see the finished product, but before the show, what we do, me and Dominique now, is we give these artists the resources to do everything. So that's photo. We give them a photo campaign. We give them visuals, and then we edit it all for them. We give them flyers. We give them campaigns. We give them all of the resources they need to be a good artist, not even within the show, but also outside of that. So like on social media, they can use this stuff to like promote themselves, build a press kit, all of those different resources.
Like a big package.
Exactly, right? So it's everything you can dream of as an artist. So we also give them that, and then there's the community aspect now, to where we partner with nonprofits and give back to the community. So
that's the bow on top of the package.
That's the bow. So with the package of the artists feeling good about themselves, having a platform, and then having that nonprofit aspect, we feel it's just a good look for the community and being able to grow the community as a whole. And so we did that in Cleveland, and it sold out. That was my first one. I was like, oh my gosh, this is amazing.
Sold out.
It was like beyond, like, people were standing.
Yeah.
Like, it was crazy.
Seats. It was good.
So from there, the R&B Reimagined, which is what you came to, was developed, and it's kind of like a smaller version of that. And there's a big story about how that came to be. But long story short, we decided to do 4 different shows in the Pittsburgh area, taking that same idea from Cleveland and, collaborating with local acts from Pittsburgh and doing it here. So that's what we did. And I'm going to be doing the second open floor experiment, which is the bigger version of the reimagining, on August 9th, next month. So, yeah.
And where's that at?
And that is at Thunderbirds.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's like right by the 40th Street Bridge. So it's actually really cool. You have to I think it just adds to the immersive experience. When you go into Thunderbird, there's like a bar and a mini stage on their front. You have to go down a hallway, and then you have a little ticket booth, and then you actually go into the venue, and you kind of walk in down this corridor, and then it actually opens up to
huge
3
venue.
floors and a stage. Yeah, it's really cool.
It's really cool, really interactive, and we're gonna have a lot of surprises. So
surprises.
Yeah. It's going to be very premium. That's another one of the aspects that I wanted to add with this, is just that, you see a show and it's a show. You go to a show and you're like, okay, this is cool. But I feel like my goal for all of these shows is to change the perspective of what a show is. Because, as artists, this is not a hobby to us. It shouldn't be a hobby to us. And I don't want the general public to think of it as, oh, they're just having fun, or, it's just them doing their thing. Like, this will change. They'll get a real job or something like that, So that's why I want people to come to these experiences and see artists in a premium way. Does that make sense?
Makes a lot of sense.
So yeah, we got a lot of surprises, and we want everybody to have fun. And at the end of the day, my goal is to make people feel something. Because, and I might be going on a rant here, but I want people to feel something through my art, because I feel like now in this generation, we're so enveloped in technology and people telling us this is that way, and we're always scrolling on our phones, doom scrolling. We're all guilty of it, but what does that make you feel at the end of the day? Like, exactly, you might feel upset. You might even feel nothing at the end of the day. You know, you see a lot of things like violence or comedy or whatever. You see it so much that you start to become numb to it. Right. So when people come to these things, they're able to actually interact with one another. First of all, they're able to watch something and be immersed within the experience presently, and not just being like, okay, what's in the future? Or, oh my gosh, why is this person doing this? Or maybe I can compare myself to them this way, or da 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 da. They'll be able to feel, and then when they leave, they'll be able to think of, yo, how did I feel during this experience, and how did that motivate me to want to do better in my life? So that's my goal.
I love it. That's great. Yeah. For me, when I do have extra time, you know, or hey, what do you want to do tonight? I don't ever. My answer is never like, well, let's just go get something to eat. For me,
let's go scroll on Instagram together.
right.
But what happens when? For me, when I go out, if we do, I mean, everybody has to eat, right?
Yeah, for sure. You got to eat to leave.
Right, but I don't like it when I go to a restaurant and I see like this gorgeous restaurant, or you know, we just had a guest on and she was discussing how sometimes food is art. Right?
Yes.
But I sit there and I watch a couple.
Oh,
we talk about this all the time.
My phone's never out unless I have to be on my phone. My phone is not something that I just randomly am scrolling on. And I don't like to be around someone who I'm talking to them and I'm talking to the top of their head.
Yes. I totally get it.
I want to talk to someone's face. And I want to be important to someone because they're important to me. If I'm out and I'm giving you my time, and I know you understand time.
Yes, exactly.
But if I'm giving you my time, I want you to reciprocate that.
Exactly.
I want to have a conversation with you. I don't want to talk to the top of your head.
Yep.
And if I talk to you and then you look up and go, huh?
Right. What's going on?
What did you say? Huh? If I'm speaking to you, I want you to be hearing me because I want to hear you.
Yep.
So when I go to shows like what you just had, I thought that was incredible because you had so many different people that were there and so many different mediums. So I felt like even if someone wasn't into, you know, the first artist or the second artist, there was something there for everyone, you know? And I like to people watch.
Right.
You know?
Same.
So when I got there, you know, someone was like, "Oh, come sit down here," and it was like the second row. I was like, "I'm gonna go back." You know, but I got to be elevated a little bit. But I got to watch people because for me, watching people enjoy art. You know, that for me is enjoyable. So I'm enjoying the art and I'm watching everyone else enjoy, and for me that's enjoyment too.
That's awesome. Yes. Right? And I totally get that. I mean, it's like a contagion, right? If, for lack of better words, but it spreads. It's viral. So people being happy spreads. People being negative also spreads. So that's what we get.
I also like if I see someone on their phone, I'm like,
right. You're like, yo, so and so what's up? What you doing over there?
Yeah, like,
did you see that?
Is there something good on Facebook? It'll probably be there in like a half an hour.
Half an hour. It's great. Oh my god.
But I mean, like, really, that's just and I'm not artistic. We always say, and you laugh at me, but I'm not creative.
For sure. Yeah.
So for me to watch someone who is, you know, even more so.
Appreciate that. Yeah, I appreciate that.
And you know, listening to you at the very end, not only you know are you so vocal, you know, and it's beautiful, but you also appreciate your audience. Because several times did you thank everyone for giving their time. You know, it's at true. The event, and you know, and having the artist that was painting, I was like intently watching. Right. And at one time, I looked at her and said, she painting with daisies?
Right. Yes, she was.
So she's an intuitive painter, which is something totally different, which I don't even know. I feel like we should like tap into that more sometimes when explaining exactly what Clarice does. But Clarice Fern is the painter's name, and she is the Worth Street Art Salon on Pittsburgh's North Side. And she paints more like what she's hearing and she's feeling than verse where you sometimes see people like painting the room as it's happening. So she's always tapping into like each artist, and Hannah always brings daisies to pass out, so she'll always take some and paint with them, and all of the colors represent the mood and stuff. They're on display. All of the pieces that she's done in the past shows.
That's what
at
I was
her
telling someone. I said
salon.
the one with all the faces. I said,
Yep.
I remember her doing this one
Right,
last
right.
time.
Yep.
But that sticks with people too. It was great that she had that.
Yep.
And then watching her do that, it's sort of like chefs.
Yeah.
Whatever
It
they're
is. It
feeling
is.
or-
Yep. Whatever you're
It tastes
feeling.
good, but
Yep.
I
I
mean,
can
it
showcase
tastes
it to
good,
somebody
you
else.
know?
Yep.
Yeah, it's all the senses.
Mm-hmm.
You know, she's hitting all the senses. Same with all of that. But
Yep.
your show does that. It
Yeah.
hits all the
Yep.
senses.
It's a visual.
That's how I feel.
Yeah.
At least
yeah.
when I'm there. So
That's what we try to do. Immerse you guys. This was it. Suspension of disbelief. That's what you do when you go to the theater. I'm a theater kid, so it's one of those things.
Yeah.
But
I'm
yeah.
a movie buff, so
So you know, you
it's the
suspending
same thing.
disbelief all the
Yeah.
time. Shoot.
Yeah. I mean, like I speak in movie quotes, so
You do. Like my old boss, he used to speak in quotes.
people. I'll say something. People are like, huh? What did you?
Like, what are you talking
wait.
about? And you're like, remember
like,
that
never
movie
mind.
from 19? You're like,
Yeah.
I don't know that movie.
Never mind. You're not my people.
You're not my people. No.
Kicked.
You don't get it. But it's the same thing though. Like, you know, when you're
Yeah.
speaking to someone and they do get you, or
Yep.
they get what you're talking about, it's like, oh,
Like, wait, I got you.
you're my people.
We're friends.
Right. Yeah.
Yes, but it's the same thing with, you know, any kind of mode like that. It's, you know, appreciation.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, that's what it's all about. At the end of the day, I appreciate you guys.
All right, so we're in Pittsburgh. There are
Yes.
how many different museums and art everywhere.
Yes.
So I keep seeing all these murals popping up.
Mm-hmm.
Is that something that touches you? That you just do you ever go to like all the museums and you just go by yourself and just look? I mean, where do you get your inspiration from?
So I feel like my inspiration, the mural thing, I am inspired by like everyday life. Like I say, from a visual standpoint, I like to look at things and just kind of break it down analytically. I feel like that's just how my mind thinks. I definitely have to break it down and just be like, okay, well, what does this mean? Or why is this structured like this? Okay, what if we put this way? What if we put it over here, you know, and twist it around?
So your head's like Tetris.
It really is. It really is like Tetris. But at the same time, music for me is a little bit different when it comes to inspiration. I could be inspired by somebody else in their situation. But a lot of the time, my music is inspired by my actual life or what I'm living. So
That's gonna be tough.
it is tough. It is tough because a lot of the time when I do get into the studio, I'm like, okay, well, it's not what do I want to write about today. It's basically, okay, if I want to get inspired, sometimes I might, you know, go on YouTube, find a random beat and then start singing on the beat, you know, and whatever comes out of my mind, then I'll start to write about. And sometimes that can be stuff from my past. Sometimes that can be, you know, stuff that I want to work towards being in the future. Sometimes it can be an alternate reality that I create in my mind.
That's a nice escape.
Yeah, it is. It is, seriously. Based on based on emotions that I've felt before. And it's funny that you're the first one that's actually said that. Like, that's got to be hard because people don't really think about the artist process of having to reach back into those emotions. And it's sad to say, but most people always say the best art is when the artist is suffering, right? So like going through heartbreak or going through a death of a family member or, you know, a friend being cheated on after like 6 years. And you're like, okay, well, how do I break that down analytically and put this into some type of song? And it's hard on you mentally. You know, you don't want to go back into those negative areas of your life. But at the same time, the way that I think about it is that going back into those areas, it is the past, you know. And I have a great way of separating that. And then also my other thought is this could help somebody at the end of the day. They could be going through this right now. And if they listen to this song, maybe it could help them get through it or process it a certain way. Or maybe it's just a good feeling for them in the moment, you know? So that's pretty much my process. As far as like day to day and actually making music, I have a producer. He's my best friend. We've been friends for like over 10 years. And he's in Texas now. He used to be here, and we used to it's like the stereotypical story of, you know, recording in your mom's basement and stuff like that. We started in the basement. Shout out Dom. And, you know, we moved up from there. We built our own studio. He learned how to engineer himself, and then he taught me how to engineer. So all the music that I create, I engineer outside of my apartment. And then he's in Texas. So what we do is hop on Discord. We create beats together, and then he'll engineer as well. So it's a very cool process. It's very collaborative, and yeah, I love it. I love it.
Now, I've heard people say that at the end of that process, it's like giving birth. That's
Oh my gosh, it sucks. Sucks so much. Yeah, it is like that, because it's like you do all this stuff. You know, you recording the music, you writing the lyrics, you working with Dom, we making the beats. Oh my gosh, it's so hard. And then you're like, okay, we gotta do the not fun stuff, right? We gotta put this in production, and then we gotta put it in the market, and then we gotta, you know, pitch to radio stations and pitch to different playlists and stuff like that, and then shoot the visual, go on Instagram, do the content. It's like giving birth. Oh God, I gotta take care of this kid now. but it's all fun at the end of the day, because you get to see the process. What is the bloom of your process, right? Like, you planted that seed, and now how are others perceiving that seed? And it's very interesting to me, because I might have looked at this song and this process a certain way, but there are so many different people that think differently, right? And they're like, well, I think it means this, and I think it means this. And I'm like, that's dope, because I would have never thought of that, right? But yeah, it's kind of like having a kid, and you're like, you know, people just start talking about your kid, and you're like, man, they doing this and they doing this, and it's so great. And you like the mom, and you like, I didn't know they did all this stuff. But yeah, so it's really cool.
Is it tough for you when you get criticized?
No, it's not, especially now, because I come from an artistic background. I went to high school for visual and performing arts. I went to college for visual and performing arts. Actor. I was always criticized. Always. I was in choir too. Always criticized. Always. You could do better on this. You need to do better on this. You need to do this better. And the thing about being an artist is, especially an actor, you have to learn. That is a part of the art, to be criticized. If you cannot handle that, then it's not for you.
Yeah.
It's just not for you. And that's okay, you know. But I think that definitely gave me that shield, I guess you can say, on how to maneuver through criticism. And, you know, I take criticism as a grain of salt. I'll listen to people. You know, I feel like I love criticism, because at the end of the day, in order for your craft to grow, and in order for you to sharpen your craft, you need that. You need people to give you perspective. You don't always have to take the perspective, but you don't always want yes men around you either, because then you're not going to grow in any capacity. You know,
see, you guys are the same.
I say that all-
Literally,
right.
She's
You
like,
don't.
how'd it go? I'm like, it went great. And she's like, okay, but how'd it go? I'm like, it literally was fine. I don't
Exactly, right.
understand. I was like, it was great.
I'm like, yo, it's got to be something in there, man. It's got to
Yeah.
be something I can work on, you know. But
That's Kelly.
but
But sometimes salt and sugar look
yeah,
the same.
exactly.
Yeah.
That's true too. That's true too. So
Yeah.
I love the criticism. You know, I love the critiques.
Well, I tell her, I'm like, if you don't tell me something, I can't get better.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's true. So anything, just something.
Yeah. Tell me I got glitter on my face.
All right, tell me I could be louder or softer or something, you know? So
Yeah.
I do the same thing with her. She's like, I think your performance was great. I'm like, you gonna elaborate? Can you tell me why? I'm like, and then I ask like 8 more times, because she's like somewhere else, and I'm like, so back to my performance. You gonna elaborate?
I do that to Jake too.
Right.
He knows that for several podcasts, and he was like, "That was wonderful." I was like,
And you're
"No,
like,
it
no.
wasn't."
It
You're
wasn't,
like,
but it's
Yeah.
okay.
So back to the first episode that we did.
I said, "Jake, you have to tell me if something needs changed or it wasn't so
Right.
good." I go,
my hair needs fixed.
yeah.
That's facts.
And
That's
I said,
facts.
it's not going to get better if you don't tell me. It's okay to tell me. I go, you
It's
can
okay.
tell me.
Right.
Something
I'm not
sucks.
gonna
like,
yell
"It's
at you.
okay."
I ain't gonna.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be cool. We gonna be cooling.
Yeah. I'm like, I can take it. Just tell me.
It's just.
Yeah.
But the thing is, a lot of people are not able to do that anymore, especially in the world that we live in. Like, criticism or critique is just all null and void. Like you can't.
Yeah. I also
I'm a
think
frost, but I'm
anymore.
not a snowflake.
I know exactly.
Oh. I also think too that sometimes people just get so enthralled with what you do that they actually don't see anything negative because they can't
That's
do it
facts,
and
too.
they're so inspired by everything that's happening, or just even maybe if they're not inspired, they're just like trying to comprehend everything because
Yeah.
they wouldn't know how to put a show on like that or how
Yep.
to sing like that or anything of the sort. So then they actually are just like, no, it's
What in
good.
the
Like I
world? No,
really
it's
don't
really-
have anything.
Yeah.
I didn't think you could sing at all.
I bet you didn't. I bet you didn't.
I really didn't. He was like, I sing, I do this, I do that. And I was like,
It's because my voice is so deep. People be like, "What is happening?"
Mine
and then he
too.
actually
What is
sang, and
happening?
I was
Yes,
like,
I hear it.
oh,
The Darth Vader.
he can sing.
Oh, that's funny. I know. But I get the deep voice thing too.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I can't sing.
Yeah.
But I really
Me
can't
neither.
sing.
Me neither. No, but for real.
So what's next for you?
I mean, next, right now, I am in what's that thing I'm in? The art mentorship? Not mentorship.
What?
The little cinema thing I got into in Akron.
Oh, your residency.
Oh, yeah, I'm in an artist residency right now. So I'm developing a short film. It's going to be a dance short film, but it's about space. And I cannot recall the book right now, but that's in the works right now. I'm working with another person that I actually went to high school with. And she was in the visual and performing arts program as well, and she's a master at dance. So we're collaborating together to take those dance aspects and those film aspects to make a short film. So that's going to be pretty cool. And then, of course, the shows, the reimaginings, those will be happening as well. And outside of that, I just want to get back to writing music because I haven't been able to because we've been trying to like do all this stuff with the shows. But yeah, I would love to get back to just getting into writing music and actually release a full project because I haven't released a full project in a while. And my music has changed significantly. So that would be really nice. And yeah, it's good to evolve. And then outside of that, just working on my business, video and photo business. So just working to get clientele and working to go freelance full time, hopefully.
Yeah.
Yes. So yeah, those are the things, man. Just trying
Only
to grow
one or
in
two
every
things.
capacity.
Very small, very minor.
Just growing in every capacity, man.
That's the mind.
Yeah, it is.
That's good. That's
Yeah,
good.
for sure.
That's exciting.
Indeed. I appreciate you.
I can't wait to see some more of what you're doing, and I will be watching,
I appreciate
cheering you on from whatever line I have to cheer.
it. Whatever.
Byline, whatever. All right, well, we like to end all of our podcasts
Yes.
with our little frostbite.
Let's do it. Frostbite it up.
Yep. So we're going to let Dominique choose the question to close with.
Are you ready?
It better be a good question. Don't give me a corny one, Dominique.
All right. What is the most refreshing frostbite that you've experienced? Meaning, what piece of advice or experience can you share that chilled you to your core, but ultimately was a blessing in disguise?
It chilled me to my core. I would say the experience. Can you repeat the question one more time? I just want to hear that.
Yeah. What is the most refreshing frostbite that you've experienced? Meaning, what piece of advice or experience can you share that chilled you to your core, but ultimately was a blessing in disguise?
So I'm about to get really deep here. I would say really dark. So when I graduated college, and I tell this story often because it is a very significant footprint in my life. My grandmother passed away. My brother had passed away. And then my little brother just went into the hospital for heart surgery. So we didn't know if he was going to be alive in 6 months. So it was a very introspective time for me, especially graduating college as well and just trying to figure out how to be an adult, right? All while taking on these massive, I guess you can say, low points of life. But that definitely chilled me to my core. You know, it showed me that, you know, tomorrow is not promised in any capacity. You know, my brother was rocking with me on campus one day, walking with me, we just smiling, having a good time. And the next day he was in the hospital for heart surgery. Same thing with my other younger brother. I had just visited him a week before that, and dapping him up and stuff like that, and he had passed away. And we had actually went through another passing 2 years prior to that. Our older brother had passed away. So saying all of that, life is not promised. So it just taught me that, whatever you're doing in your life, take that time and do not take it for granted at all. And I say this chilled me, but it's a blessing to answer your question, because at the end of the day, it really did teach me that. And it also gave me the energy to take that experience and be able to, like I said before, motivate and inspire others through what had happened to me. And to show them, like, you don't have to necessarily listen to the bounds of whatever society is telling you. You should go out and do what your heart and what God is telling you to do, at the end of the day, because like I said, tomorrow is not promised. So do everything that you do, not just into yourself, but do it fully, man. Just do it full, and you will be happy with your life. You'll be more at peace. You'll be just a better person. So those are my remarks. Yeah.
Thank you for sharing that.
For sure.
Wonderful. Yeah. All right. Well, thank you for being here. We appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
Dave,
That was,
That's a full
that
day.
was some good stuff today.
All right, guys. Well, that's another episode of Frostbites. Thank you for sticking it out with us all day today, and see you on the next episode.